If you like your extreme metal in Spanish, head down to the Park Theater on June 12th to see Mexican metal band Brujeria, along with Canadian punk legends Dayglow Abortions, Incite, and local Suburban Hypocrites. This week's episode of Witchpolice Radio is brought to you by Fourth Quarter Records. It's a Winnipeg-based label and recording studio home to Three-Peat, as well as Eggs solo projects and Charlie Feta. You can find their merchandise, including the awesome new Three-Peat hoodies, online at fourthquarterrecords.com. And if you haven't seen these things, you should definitely check them out. I mean, a lot of local artists are wearing them right now, and it's very cool to see the support from across genres. As soon as those Three-Peat hoodies came out, I've been seeing all kinds of people posting on social media, and it's, people in rock bands, electronic music, soul music, whatever. They're all sort of sporting the Three-Peat gear. So there's definitely a lot of love and support for Three-Peat within the local music community at large, and it's very cool to see.
You're listening to Garbage Hill, Winnipeg's first podcast network.
Alright, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I'm your regular host, Sam, and I'm in a really bizarre part of St. Boniface with all four members, right?
Yep.
Of Confuschia. So, thanks for having me on the show. Thanks for me having you on the show and you having me in your house. And, this location seems really great for a jam space. I mean, I know people can't see it over the air, but...
Yeah, totally, man. It's, for anyone, I guess, if you're listening or whatever, it's like, if you know what Love Day Mushroom Factory is in St. Boniface, that thing that stinks all the time, we're kind of tucked in right behind it. So it's
it's a secret little spot, and I guess you can probably play as loud as you want.
It's very industrial. Well, actually, it's cool, too, because, long story short, this, it used to be an office for, a company, basically.
Okay, this house?
So, it's zoned industrially still, so,
nice.
we can, make loud noise until 11.
Right, because they expect machinery or something.
Yeah, exactly, so it's
awesome.
totally cool.
Very cool. So just because there's so many of you in the room here, maybe let's just go around the table here and everyone identify themselves and what they do in the band, and we'll sort of go from there. So let's start with you here.
My name's Hayden. I play the bass guitar in the band.
I'm Derek, and I beat on the drums. Like they owe me money.
I'm Dirty Shea Johnson. Trying to make that nickname stick.
Yes,
it's not sticking so far. But hopefully.
Now it's been recorded, so maybe someone will.
Yeah. I sing and I play guitar.
Cool.
And I'm Adam, and I sing backup and play guitar.
Cool. Okay, well, whenever I do these, I like to kind of look up whatever I can find out about whoever I'm going to be interviewing ahead of time. Yeah. And one thing about you guys is maybe a bit different than a lot of people I have on the show is there's not much. There's not a lot of stuff I could find. There's some things on YouTube. You got a Facebook page, but other than that, there wasn't a ton of information. So I'm kind of going into this a little bit blind, which is cool. Yeah. So it makes it for a little different. But yeah,
that's cool.
How long has this actually been a unit? How long have you guys actually been down?
What's it official?
Kind of over a year.
Okay, so it's still fairly new, which is probably why there's not a lot of it.
Yeah, it was right after New Year's last year, right?
So they started.
We started jamming, kind of, but it was pretty casual for
we didn't come up with a name or anything like that for a while.
Yeah, to well into spring, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just kind of getting together and learning the songs. It was kind of like me and Shay. Actually, we were kind of just reminiscing on these the other day. It was me and Shay got together. We met just kind of randomly at Long McQuaid one day. We was just playing guitar, I was playing bass, and
just as customers.
Just random people, and we're just like, hey man, you sound great. You sound great. Want to jam, kind of thing, right?
Cool.
I remember you first complimented me on a custom surf blue Strat I was playing. It was $4,000 that I couldn't afford.
Right, you just started playing
it. Sick Strat, and I was like,
we're just sitting there playing super nice guitars or something.
Guitars we couldn't afford.
Well, I guess for anyone who wonders how to get into a band, because that comes up a lot, right? It's like this. You just go to Long McQuaid.
Yeah, totally. Man. There's a lot of people there, looking. Obviously, they're musicians.
Yeah.
Trying to be.
When I met him at Long McQuaid, I was pretty new to the city, and I grew up way out in the country.
Okay. So
when I graduated, I moved to Winnipeg, and I hadn't met or really befriended anybody in the music scene.
Were you here for school or something? Is that
no? I just moved here to do music.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so that was kind of my first attempt into actually meeting people.
Sure.
And shit, which is hanging at music shops.
And then how did the rest of you get involved in this?
We jammed with Shay in another band
called
Sweet Lou, and then we seen you guys at a Tusk show or a Moonpan show or something
the Billy
like that.
Talent after party.
Yeah, the Billy Talent after party. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were just like, we should jam. We should try some stuff out, and it just turned into a band.
Oh man, it just worked. It clicked like instantly, dude. It was sick.
Actually,
like the chemistry of everyone. It just
Tyler Hesford from Tusk. He introduced me to.
Oh, nice. He's been on the show too. Good guy, yeah, for sure. Great band too, Tusk.
Oh, sick.
Excellent band, yeah. So how do you? I mean, what kind of musical backgrounds are you guys from? Not in terms of like how long you played or anything like that, but in terms of genre and what you guys are into. Because something that I found interesting, just looking at your Facebook and everything, is I've seen this a few times lately. Is that you mention grunge and funk both as influences, and this actually came up. Have you guys seen the show Mom's House, the video show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hosted a couple episodes of that a couple months ago, and I interviewed Northern Lights Drive. Do you know those guys?
Okay.
And they same thing. They had the grunge and funk kind of listed as their influence, and I thought it was really weird. I kind of want to know what you guys think about this too. But I kind of asked them about it because I thought, like, to me, I like bands in both of those genres, but grunge to me is very aggressive, it's very angsty, it's very kind of heavy emotion and that kind of thing, dark, sad, all those things that you bring into it. Whereas funk is the complete opposite, whereas, very upbeat. The whole point of it is to get people to dance. Obviously, funk exists, but it covers the other topics as well. But just on the surface, like grunge and funk seem like complete opposites, and they seem that they shouldn't mesh. So. Yeah. How and why do you guys combine that? Like, what works?
To say first off that I think it's like I think we all care a lot about making sure that we're allowed to play whatever we want. So we try not to lock us in because we jam all the time. We just jam like random junk,
Well,
so
genres are hard too, right? Because it's it's sort of fit.
Like our one of our newest songs is just like a straight pop song. Okay. It's just like really pretty and happy.
Yeah, totally.
And then bluesy kind of. Like my cousin said, croony, where you're crooning a lot and shit. Like he said, we have shit like that, and then we have like punk,
big classic rock and roll endings, all sorts of it's all over the map. It's just nice to not be like, okay, we're this kind of band, like that, because I don't want to do that. Like,
well, because then you're stuck in that pocket, right?
It's like I don't know how to write in one thing, Like,
does that make it hard though, when in terms of getting shows or people kind of figuring out where you fit in terms of their own classification of I want to go see this band, right? Has that become an issue at all, or are you guys?
I'm not entirely like our shows
fitting into certain venues, maybe a little bit, but I think the music scene in Winnipeg is interesting enough that people really like something that sticks out.
Yeah,
super
there's
weird.
a lot of really cool stuff going. So you can kind of pretty much blend. Even just have like a bunch of weirdos in one show, just like a bunch of random stuff.
Which sometimes are the best shows too.
Oh, of course, for sure, man. Yeah.
So to go back to the original question though, like where do you guys come from background-wise as far as what kind of stuff you're into? Obviously, there's a lot of different things floating around in what you do. So
totally.
Is there like a common ground you all sort of agree on?
The one person at a time, I guess. Like
Well, me and Adam and Derek are super into John Frusciante and the Chili Peppers.
Yeah. I guess that's where like the initial kind of funk.
Right. Yeah.
And then.
But at the same time, like anything else, 90s, like all that grunge, though, that was a huge influence, too, so it's kind of like...
Yeah.
And blending everything. And then I was also, like, super into kind of, like Led Zeppelin, more, like, heavy, and Sabbath, but then also, like, the Beatles, kind of, like, more pop and shit, so... Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Totally, same jam, man. Like, all over the map, from, like, stoner, doomy stuff, to, like, just,
I remember that when we were, like, bonding over music initially, it was like we were just bonding over this super weird, obscure stuff that we knew together that didn't seem like a lot of other people jamming.
Right. like what?
Like we tried to jam King Cruel was the first thing we tried to jam, and then like Joy Division and the Growlers and stuff that we were just talking about earlier.
Yeah,
like it was just like
hugely obscure, but it was just like a little bit less on the like.
Well, I guess you both identified that you knew that.
Yeah, totally. It was like for sure.
It wasn't like let's learn a Nirvana song.
Right.
It was like kind of like just introducing each other to like kind of like I'd never heard the Growlers.
Totally.
We learned the Growlers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just keep it open.
Back
to the kind of the same
what you were saying before.
Sure. Keep it open.
So how do you? If you don't mind me asking, how old are you guys? Like, I never know anymore. Once people get over the age like 20, I have no clue. I can't figure it out. Sure. So, like, just to place sort of what era you guys are from, like, is there like a immediate age in the group that we can sort of?
Totally.
I'm 23.
Okay.
And we're all 21.
Okay, so you guys are still fairly young.
We're 22 now.
No, I'm 21.
Yeah.
21. Okay, so yeah, it's early 20s, right?
Your birthday's okay.
Yeah, totally, man.
We'll go with early 20s.
yeah.
That'll work. So, I mean, I'm 35, so, I'm, I guess, a generation or whatever ahead of you. And you mentioned the 90s stuff and, the grunge things and all that stuff. For me, that was when I was in junior high. So that stuff was all, like, happening, and I love it because usually the music you hear when you're, like, 14 is stuck in your head forever, and you know what I mean? Right, so how did you guys get into that stuff? I mean, obviously, a lot of those bands are still huge and always will be, and they're very easily available, but what is it about that 90s stuff that stuck with you guys where you're not necessarily from that era, if you know what I mean? Like, because you had
it was partially like what my parents listened to.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I was always like listening to what they had on the radio or whatever.
Yeah, sure. I think everyone kind of absorbs some of that.
So it's just like I got into that young and then just like stuck with it.
Okay.
And you kind of explore from there.
Yeah, definitely.
You hear like the hits from Zeppelin, all of a sudden you're into some old Cream or something.
Sure, of course, yeah.
So it's just like,
Well, like I again, like I grew up out in the country, and there wasn't like any kind of music culture at all. Like, there's nobody really like that into music.
Like, what part of out in the country are you from?
St. Rose de Lac.
Okay.
Like right by Dauphin. So yeah, there was like no pressure to listen to pop music because nobody I was friends with were like into pop.
Right.
And then everybody just into their own weirdo thing, so it wasn't like, no pressure going any direction. For some reason, a lot of bands from the 90s just happened to hit me. Nirvana was like a huge one. Like, when you listen to all of Nevermind for the first time, you're like 13. It's like, it doesn't matter what
that's the same thing with
you're in it. Right. You're just like, oh my god.
That's the same thing as me hearing when I was 13, but it was new, right? It was newer. It doesn't make a difference. It's the same. Yeah,
totally.
Okay, that's cool.
And
that's cool.
I just always love shit that just makes me want to move. That's why, I think like grunge goes with funk, because just on a primal level, they both make you want to like mess shit up. You know?
Right. Maybe move it in a different way, but
different ways for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what's cool is like what we say is like we'll have songs almost where like it'll be like a funky song, but then in the same song we'll be like really just digging in and getting into that kind of like feeling. So it can just fall all over the place.
So that's cool. It's something I always wonder, just because like, I mean, doing the show, I talk to people who are like 18 and the people who are 70. Like, it doesn't matter. So but people's kind of orienting where people come from on the whatever timeline is always interesting, because especially because like and I think everyone does this, my impression of the popular music that the generation younger than me listen to is that it's terrible. I'm sure it wasn't, and there's definitely bands that I have later discovered are actually pretty good. But it's kind of this thing like, this stuff is shit. How did you guys find the good stuff?
Totally.
But then, I mean, like, I'm listening to stuff that's 40 years older than me, too, right? So it doesn't matter. It's just all, the good stuff floats above the surface of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And the internet, the holy internet.
Right.
Like, the main reason, obviously, like anything, like my music taste would be trash, limited to whatever.
Well, that's actually a good point, because I guess you guys are of the era where the internet was, like, kind of primary music source, right?
I was just thinking of reading something about that concept the other day, actually, of how we grew up. Like, we had the best of both worlds, where we had like up until 7 or 8 kind of thing, where it was pretty limited to who had it. So we had a bit of that core reality, and then and then it hit us like right around that age.
And you just get everything.
So we had a bit of both, you know. So
that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys, you've been around for just over a year, and you're recording something, or has it already been recorded?
Yes,
it's been recorded.
It's been recorded. For sure.
Just being mixed at the moment.
Okay.
Like we got like a rough mix of it so far. We recorded at Exchange Studios.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And yeah, so it's like pretty much done. We just got to tweak a couple things here and there, but yeah.
And when's it coming out? When's the goal for it?
Well, the EP release show is at the Cavern on June 2nd.
Okay.
And yeah.
Throw down a single before that,
Yeah, for sure.
Like that, but
yeah. So
and it was a guy named Grant did it. Shout out to Grant. He was
Triple.
like mad good.
Yep.
Like really good experience with that. If anyone's looking for someone, I would recommend him highly. Like super good experience. Really passionate. Like
cool.
we got to record off the floor. He made it sound great.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Beautiful studio.
I guess that helps with the energy too, like you guys are talking about. I mean,
that was like what we needed. That was the only way we were going to record. At least I think that's kind of what we agreed on.
He made like the whole process there just made it so smooth that you weren't having to stop between each take like 2, 3 to 5 minutes, like
right,
because that really messes up the energy.
Yeah, there was no click tracks. It was just go in.
Yeah, just a big crescendo.
Totally.
The whole time.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a lot of fun.
Is that important though to have that? Like, do you think that the listener can will be able to tell that it's done like that?
That was like I think what our intention was. Like we had a little bit of experience like on the demo kind of click track stuff, and like it was great and the sounds are nice, but like it just didn't it's hard to get that feel even just to throw like a big long ending, right? Like how do you know when to stop it and how to control it?
Like
just like you got to look around and just like
improv almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like just feel it, you know what I mean?
It's not likely songs play the same twice.
Like we'll all lock eye contact and know when to we're speeding up.
Right.
Right. So if we don't have that kind of connection, it's really like hard to make it flow naturally.
Right, because I guess you're forcing onto whatever was invented by one guy, and then that's cool. So does the improv stuff, is that just strictly for like when certain parts of the songs happen, or is it in terms of just what happens with the song? Like how much of it is pre-planned?
Like the structure is pretty much.
Right, you got the verse, chorus, verse.
Oh, it's a set song, but there's like certain bursts, like heavier, crazy parts, or solo parts. Obviously for guitars is a good example.
And can those be extended? Like do those go on?
Oh yeah, like that's our thing. Is we like well not our thing, but we like to jam as long as we can on stage.
Right,
If we have a we can play for a minute and also 3 minutes.
Okay.
It's like we might play for 3 minutes if we feel like it.
Play for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Or we might play to kill 10 minutes on the non-written song on stage.
Right.
Yeah. Well, our last show at Le Garage, we have a song called "Ascend to the Sun" that Hayden wrote, and we have like most of a structure for it, but we're like, we're just gonna go up and jam it as best we can.
Different every time, guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that eventually lead to developing what the song proper is going to be, or is it always just kind of open-ended like that?
At some point, maybe, like if we were to record it.
Yeah, like maybe what an ideal recording could sound like.
Okay.
But yeah, not necessarily. We could mess with it live as much as we want.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah. We all really value live improv.
Yeah,
totally.
Well, that's a good thing to have in any genre of music. I think it makes it worth kind of going to see live when you know it's going to be. You don't know what's going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Do you, as a fairly new band, again, I don't want to harp on the year and a bit thing, but as you've been around for that long, now that you have those songs in the can, do they feel old to you yet? Like, are they going to feel old by the time the EP comes out? Like, oh shit, we've been working on these for months. Now we got totally new stuff? Because usually newer bands are kind of more rapidly working on new stuff all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Like, is there anything about those songs that you can foresee becoming kind of tired or old for you guys by the time you get to that point where it actually gets released?
I could say for myself, like, naturally you obviously like progress in what you want to play, but at the same time, I think like I can appreciate for what the songs were, like they're still fun to do.
Yeah,
and especially like once you take a break, like we don't practice for 2 weeks because we're pretty like consistent at least once or twice a week. So, and then you get together and play the same songs that you played 1,000 times, and it just feels like pretty new and fresh.
Because you lock into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with like the improv aspect.
Sure.
Like, it's going to be new every time.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't get stale.
Yeah, you can find new things to like about it almost every time.
Cool.
But yeah, like, they don't, like, I feel like there'll be a point where the songs are kind of, like, irrelevant to who we are, like, when we're a bit older. But at the moment, like, I don't feel tired of them because we've, like, worked on them so much. Like, I'm almost more excited about them because we've, like, kind of gone as deep as we can into them.
Yeah. Well, I guess now people get to hear it, too, right? People get to hear it.
Yeah, I'm excited to actually have someone be like, yo.
Yeah, and it's at the point where you're so comfortable with it that you can play it and have as much fun as you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
for sure. Which is super important. Like,
especially recording it, really like solidifies it almost.
Sure.
Yeah, well, it's because it's there. It's a permanent version of it, right?
Yeah,
Like listening back, you really get something else out of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely.
So, are you guys going on tour as well? Is that something
that's the plan? We're in the middle of booking it. I've been emailing. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Just been like emailing like a few venues like per city, kind of like go to Brandon, Regina, Edmonton, Saskatoon.
Okay.
And like maybe hit Selkirk and then come
Pretty
back.
good prairie tour, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's awesome.
We'll plan as much of that as we can, but at the moment nothing's set in stone.
Cool. Have any of you toured before with other projects? Or well, that's exciting.
We've been to like Portage. If
yeah.
You want to call
No,
that.
I think it counts.
Yeah.
I think it counts. I played in bands for a long time, and the farthest I ever went was Brandon and Portage. So I counted. Whatever.
That's cool. No, Brandon. Yeah. How far is Portage actually?
It's like half an hour.
Oh, okay.
It's not very
Brandon is legit.
Brandon's
That's
legit.
Yeah.
Where did you and Sweet Lou? Where did you guys?
We
go?
went to Grand Forks actually.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
That's right.
Another country. That's legit. That's
a continental band, man.
That counts, man.
Yeah, it definitely counts. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, touring. Obviously, you haven't really done it before, other than the Grand Forks.
Yeah.
But do you feel like that because of the way the internet is, sort of what we mentioned before too, everything's kind of available to everyone? Does it make it easier to book? Like the fact that you can just contact people and that you can sort of find venues that you are interested in playing at and that kind of thing, or?
For sure. Like the other day I was in between watching Rick and Morty and just emailing every venue on a huge list of like cities I made up. Or no, actually I got from the singer from Lunar Lander Dance Commander sent me a bunch of venues, so I just was like, watch a little bit, and I'd email one, watch a little bit, and then they hit me right back up.
Cool.
Like right after. So yeah, I've gotten like feedback from like 7 or 8 venues. So
That's
far.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Not again. I know we already kind of established the genre thing is hard to do, and maybe it isn't an easy way to pigeonhole you guys. But when it comes to playing shows out of town, and you have to sort of find the audience that's going to be into what you do, how do you plan to do that? Like, how do you kind of want to promote yourselves in
as much
Selkirk,
energy
Regina,
as we can all the time?
Right.
It's like, I don't know, you can think like definitely, I was just actually thinking about that today kind of on the EP, like, because there's a lot of difference in the tracks. Like I was going just back to them today, and like there's, if you were to separate them into like 3 or 4 like different songs, you could almost consider them different bands if you cut the vocals, you know? Like, so yeah, I think it'd be cool to just like, you know, kind of grab 3 songs that we have good recordings of, attach them up, and
see which one fits with which venue.
Yeah, exactly. If they like one of them, then maybe they'll give us a chance. You know, kind of gives them at least enough that like it can hit 3 possible things at once.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah, that's fair.
So,
Like,
that's actually good to be versatile like that too,
exactly.
right?
Like, we can give them a slow song, and then if they like that, attracted to that, we can try to play more of that or learn a cover for when we go there. You know what I mean? Like,
well, like again, our last show at Le Garage, like when we played there, we do like 2 different sets. So when there's like the earlier set where there's still people like eating dinner and stuff. It's like a restaurant, you know. You can kind of play. We have enough mellow stuff now where we can play like a mellow set and then end with a heavy.
You don't want to
set.
chase them out of the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Yeah, it's nice.
As kind of a companion question to that last one, where do you think you fit in locally? Not in terms of genre, because forget that. But like, I mean, other bands in the city that you sort of feel kinship with. It's like, oh, these guys are bands that we kind of want to play with, or do play with, or you sort of fit in a group with them.
Easy Trans.
Yeah, this
okay.
Easy Trans.
I've heard the name. I haven't heard them yet, though.
Oh, they're awesome, man.
Yeah.
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 Medium funk, man. Watch out.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Like, they're kind of like on the... They have a similar style to us. They're more like on the bluesier end.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, funky blues, for sure.
But they're pretty goddamn sick. Like,
Cool.
Oh, no,
I've seen the name pop up on social media.
Yeah,
Like,
How many shows have we done with them? Is it
At least like 3,
now?
yeah.
3 or 4?
They're fun.
So it's kind of becoming a regular. It's like people will associate you guys together.
Yeah,
Cool.
I would take them on tour if we could. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
I would say like with bands that we've played with, like Trampoline is like a really good band.
Yeah,
I love
good
singing
band.
that we've played with, which is a pleasure.
Space Butt was a wicked
Oh,
one.
Space
fantastic
Butt.
band. Yeah.
Oh,
I
my
had them on the show
goodness.
too. They're awesome. Yeah.
Oh, and the Settlers, when we played with them too, they were so good.
Cool.
I can't remember the...
Oh, Paige Drobot.
Oh, Paige Drobot.
the
Oh my
Psychics.
goodness, the Psychics. Vangoras. Both so
and,
good.
Shout out to Grant Triple's band Holy Void.
Oh yeah, they're
for sure.
so much fun
For sure,
to
yeah.
watch, for sure.
I'm trying. Who else? Am I missing anybody?
What's the band that plays, I don't know them at all by any means, but the band that plays Soul Night on Tuesdays.
Soul Night. Shout out to Soul Knight.
Yeah, no kidding. The band's great every time. Like they're always just so tight.
I don't know.
Look up Soul Knight.
Yeah, Soul Knight at the Cavern.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's
Every
Tuesdays or
Tuesday.
Thursdays or Thursday. I don't remember. Yeah.
Do you feel that you fit in with like some of the more? There's a lot of bands that are kind of sort of like what you guys were saying earlier too about the '90s thing. With a lot of younger bands is coming back.
Totally.
So I mean, like even something like Silence Kit, you know.
I was actually literally just going to say that.
Tusk is very got like
and
Tusk is more of like an Alice in Chains kind of thing, but it's still the '90s, you know.
Yeah, very
totally.
Do you guys fit in with that kind of stuff at all?
Oh,
do you think?
absolutely.
Yeah, somewhat. Like, yeah, style wise.
I think our sounds with men like they blend in together pretty well for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Do you think there's becoming like a small scene for that kind of stuff in the city?
I think so. I think it's kind of like it's the '90s are old enough now. That
right, it's nostalgia.
Revival.
Yeah.
You know, like in the '90s, there was the '60s revival.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
everyone's walking around like wearing like shirts of '70s bands and long hair.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Everything's cyclical. It just goes in circles. Yeah,
totally.
Like super baggy, ironic sweaters.
Yeah,
like a big thing now. Which I haven't been since the '90s.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of weird to see that stuff. It's like the same shit
Hey
I wore in junior high. Is also
outfitters that cost $50.
It always becomes cool.
Yeah, the jeans that are pre-ripped and everything.
Yeah, totally. It's weird, but yeah, we kind of fit in with that, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds gets great too.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Well, and that's another one too that like has a very strong live element, and it seems like what you guys are talking about too. Like the energy is
yeah,
sure.
Totally.
Oh yeah, they're great stage presence. That band. Yeah, they're sick.
Is that something you guys try to focus on? Like, do you want to have put on a show rather than just play the songs, or?
Yeah, well, we do like dress up.
Okay.
Like, silly when we go.
Like what kind of silly are we talking?
Occasionally, casual.
Occasionally go to
it's like fun. Like we don't make it like a regular gimmick, like we're Kiss or anything.
Right.
But just like if we're in the mood, we'll go to Valley Village. One time I wore, it was. I got a onesie. It was a red zip-up onesie that had dope written across the chest in like white letters, but I cut the legs into shorts and then cut the sleeves burly boy style.
Okay.
So the dope romper with a hood.
And you played on stage with it?
Yeah, that was a pyramid. And that shit was fun.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
I don't do that every time. Just occasionally.
Yeah.
It's good. It'd be nice too. It's just like it's just sometimes kind of hard to play really well when you're doing that. You know, for
you're wearing a ridiculous costume.
Or just like jumping around like crazy. You know what I mean? Like I always respect that when I see people doing like a really good job and playing clean like that. I'm like, man, like that takes practice.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I can't do that good. So that's like.
Well, I don't know if you guys were ever into White Zombie at all, but their bass player, she used to like. I remember seeing old videos of them in like the early to mid '90s, and she would be headbanging the entire song, but doing this thing. I can't properly explain it with the words, but she'd be doing this with her head, swirling around in circles the entire set. And you can watch live videos of them, and it's like a half-hour set, and she is like playing
the whole time,
and she's like playing super hard, and it's like I don't know how you could even do that with like for 10 seconds.
Like,
I would fall over.
Like Joey Jordanson, like Slipknot.
Yeah.
He's just as insane on the drums. He's playing like faster than anybody, and his head's going.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how some people can just it's ridiculous.
It's some kind of talent of its own.
Yeah.
It's like that. Rub your head in circles and pat.
Right. Yeah.
But like times.
Playing an instrument and
totally.
and staying on beat. It's ridiculous.
It's
totally.
There's bands that do it though, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's like you don't want to like be a kind of player that thinks you have to be moving all the time, but it's nice to like play the kind of stuff where you can move if you want to.
Yeah.
Where it has feeling enough that you can get
like naturally just feel it out and move how that is. Like if you were just dancing at a psychedelic show or something.
Right,
just like groove.
Like when we did Ascend into the Sun last, like I looked over at you and you were headbanging like I'd never seen you headbang before, and it was in front of like no people.
That's awesome.
Literally, like my mom and my stepdad at the show. That's it.
That's the best place to headbang.
Totally. You're just like you had the guitar face and you're just like swinging your hair around, and it was like sweet. I was like, you're feeling it, man. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah. That was a fun show.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. I mean, like I think that's when you know a band is actually legitimately into what they're doing, if they're doing that kind of thing when there's no one there, like regardless, huge crowd, no one, same thing, right? Same energy. Yeah, that's cool. It's really cool.
I almost find it's easier with less people, you know.
Right,
because
you screw up, don't you?
You're scary in front of people.
Sure, man.
Yeah. So if people haven't heard you before and they're hearing you for the first time on here, what's the best thing for them to do to find out more information?
For us, we have a decently active Facebook. Like we share definitely all of our events on there. Instagram, we share all of our events on there for sure.
All the videos we can find. That people like show us or whatever.
Our Instagram is just Confuschia_band, I think, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll link to some of this stuff on the show notes too.
There you go. Nonetheless,
Still,
we don't really have.
There's no Bandcamp or anything, right? Yet, because
we are going to start. I think I don't know if this is too early to say.
Well, it depends when this comes out, right? We'll see.
But like I think like we were kind of with this whole recorder that I just picked up and with working on recordings just at home and stuff. We kind of just talking about putting out like a couple of just funny house demos, because that like again leaves us to be able to just put out literally any genre, weird experimental shit, and then just kind of put it on a Bandcamp or a spot like anything like that.
SoundCloud or whatever.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
About restrictions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like cool, and it could be anyone. It could be even just more people than us or whoever's here. So.
Yeah.
Had you guys done that before at all? Like any home recordings, or is it just all strictly the studio stuff?
I've been kind of like focusing on trying to learn it a lot. But like these dudes know about like a good bit about it too, for sure.
Because it's almost like usually the starting point, right? Usually people will record a bunch of crazy shit at home, and then they'll move on to the studio thing afterwards, right? But it's kind of cool you had that in the bag already, and now it's like now you have freedom to
it's just
do whatever.
fun to finick with, right?
Yeah,
like for sure, it's just something else to do, and it helps. I think it helps you with your ear, like how you want things to sound,
right? Because you get more just practice, right?
Totally,
yeah, and you take everything you play a little bit more seriously when you know you're being recorded.
Yeah, for sure.
That's always a big help too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless you get stressed out about it and screw up.
That is,
But I remember, like, when Hayden and I were just, like, hitting up open mics, like, I noticed my guitar playing, like, improving, and my singing improving, like, a lot.
Because someone's watching?
Well, because, people were watching, and then we were just doing, like, home, like just, iPhone recordings of our run-throughs and stuff. So I was actually, like, thinking about singing songs comfortably over and over and over again and not straining my voice as much, like, unnecessarily. So, my singing improved a lot and my guitar playing improved a lot, and there's something about, taking it seriously. And, I'm rambling.
No, it's good. That's cool.
Listening back on your stuff is always obviously the best way, right? Like to look back on what you did and then see what you feel like.
I love listening back to shit and being like, how the hell did I even play that?
Right, yeah. It can never be repeated.
When you really nail it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Something spinning, something spinning. Something spinning, something spinning. Something spinning, but standing still. Won't you let me clear my throat? It's all to the old way. Spinning outside, do what you did to me. The other man upon me, I'll take it time to time. Won't you let me clear my throat? It's all to the old way. Spinning outside, do what you do to me. Do what you do to me. Do what you do to me.
Well, and I guess it's so easy to do now too. I mean, you can just get whatever and record it. You record on the phone, like you're saying.
Yeah,
You just,
oh,
it's
sure,
just-
yeah.
So convenient.
So ideas and stuff could be.
For
yeah.
sure, man.
Yeah,
So-
Awesome.
People should check out your Instagram, Facebook, and the EP again is coming out in June.
Yeah,
What's the date for that show again?
June 2nd.
At the Cavern.
At the Cavern with Home Handshake.
Okay. They're pretty new, right? I mean, I started hearing about them recently, and they sound
Yeah.
awesome. The
They're
vocals
from,
is crazy.
So nice. Their harmonies
Yeah.
and stuff,
They're
man.
so good. They're from Vancouver, right?
Oh, really?
I think.
I'm not sure. Like, I think
a couple of them are.
something like one of the members like was from here and then moved there and moved back.
Okay.
And stuff like
Okay,
that. I'm not entirely
something
sure
like
about
that.
all of them though.
Because I feel like they just popped up out of nowhere.
Totally.
Yeah, I just started hearing about them, and then
They-
they all through videos and shit. It
They
was
just
good.
came in
Just-
hot.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They emerged
totally.
really strong, and so they're gonna be there. The Psychics are playing.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay.
which is
Yeah.
super exciting.
Yeah.
And then when are you looking at for potentially touring? Is that for potentially touring? Is that kind of up in the air still,
We're
or?
hoping for like the weekend after that.
Oh, cool. Okay, so like
Yeah.
right when the albums.
Yeah. Like sort out that show, and we're gonna do some. With that show, we're gonna do some kind of ticketed deal where you, if you buy a ticket in advance, at the door you get a free EP.
Nice.
You know, we're gonna do some kind
Yeah,
of
like,
thing like that.
tickets in advance, you get an EP. If you come in at the door, you don't. And you get a
Right.
final
So just
kind of thing.
incentive to
Yeah,
cool,
exactly.
cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Give us an idea of at least how many people are going to roll in. You know.
Right. I know people want the CD too.
Yeah, of course.
Are you doing physical copies too?
Yeah, we're gonna be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it's a weird question because it seems like an obvious thing, but a lot of people just don't even do
No,
that.
oh,
They
yeah,
don't
I
even-
mean, like what I heard too recently at a show is like download cards.
Right, they
Like,
give you
at
a
the door,
download card,
just
yeah.
like hand everyone one on the way out or whatever.
Yeah.
Little scratch code and boom.
But I'm so like I don't know. I'm for some reason I just got that old school mindset where I want somebody to like hand me something.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then,
for
like,
sure.
Actually,
Yeah,
like, okay, this is
and
like
have it, and
this
like
is the
the-
thing I have to acknowledge.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree
It's
100%.
like the artwork more important and all that. So
Yeah, we get the
Yeah.
whole thing, right? The whole
Yeah.
thing from beginning to end rather than just a bunch of
Totally.
files, yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
you
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah.
I like hearing that, especially from people younger than me, because I'm such a Luddite in that regard. I don't do any Spotify or any of that stuff. All I have is
Yeah.
physical tapes, records, and CDs that I just
Okay.
never stop listening to. So every once in a while, someone will be like, "Here's a download card." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah, scratch my window.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's funny because we're doing a podcast, which is digital,
No,
digital
it's-
media.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually listening to music, I love getting physical at a show, go to
Oh,
a show,
yeah,
buy a
for
CD,
sure, man.
buy tape, buy record, whatever.
Yeah,
it's-
no, I
Go and
was
transmit it with an analog.
I rocked I rocked a Discman for an unfashionably long amount of
Nice.
time. Because I just loved like making my own little like compilations
Right,
and stuff
right.
on CDs and stuff when I was a kid.
I like the tactile element of you touching something. You seem like you're somehow involved in making it play, even though it's the same thing as just pressing the button.
Yeah. My roommate just got this new car and it's got a tape deck in it. I forgot about the pleasures of that. Same thing, having a Walkman, like you just like crank a tape in there, you just slap it in, and you don't know where the hell it's going to start. Like, this is awesome.
Well, and the best thing about that too is I think that people maybe because people are so into the streaming and everything, they've kind of missed the whole thing of listening to something from start to finish.
Yeah, like
oh my goodness, man!
Because everyone just skip, and you put a tape in, you're listening to the tape. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to sit there fast forwarding to the song, right? So it's just here it is. It's kind of cool. It's like I think people are almost missing out because you get an album and someone spent the time to actually.
Like the concept album has disappeared.
Right, because you can't hear a single from a concept album. It's like it's going to be completely out of context, and this is not going to work. So
totally.
Yeah, I'm definitely as guilty of that as like anybody. Like it's so easy to just throw on a YouTube playlist.
Well, you just press a button and it goes. Yeah.
But the last full album I listened to is "Drunk" by Thundercat.
Okay, it's a good album actually.
Yeah, and I was like so happy I actually listened to the whole thing because like for the longest time I just heard like one song off it. And
right.
Yeah, you really miss out a lot when you don't listen to an album in its entirety.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, well, people should definitely check out your Facebook and Instagram. Hopefully by the time you hear this, the album will be coming out very soon, the EP, and you should check that out at the show, at the Cavern. Wherever else, hopefully there's a Bandcamp by then, and people can check that out too.
Man. A bunch of random stuff.
Yeah, awesome. And then if you want to hear more episodes of this show, go to witchpolice.com. There's 270 some at this point, maybe even more by the time this comes out. They're all there for free download and streaming, going back to 2012. And the show also airs on UMFM on Sundays at midnight, and those are episodes that kind of get a second wind, so it might be 5 or 6 months even between the time it's recorded and when it actually airs on the radio, but it's definitely cool because by the time people are hearing this on UMFM, your EP's out, they can just go find it, right? So it's kind of an extra bonus way. Yeah.
Extra kick.
And then just look up Witchpolice on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. Usually you can find this because it's a weird name. And this is kind of how it works. But yeah, thanks a lot for having me, guys. This is very cool to.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'd seen the name a bunch. I mean, it's a name stands out, and
thank you.
It's like I didn't really know too much about you because I couldn't find much. So I was like, oh shit, I got to do some research. But
it's working on that.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Very cool to meet you guys and kind of hear where you're coming from. It's interesting.
Great to meet you too, Sam.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Stay out of reach, and all the promises we gave, laying bathe and sleep, and all the comforts at my feet, like every plasma in my blood. Though things are not quite clean enough, your life is customers a patron. Paid for your business, not to the distance to and from the flame in it. I pray for sleep, and on and on. We go, 'cause we don't even need a shelter. In the sea, yes, stay in your sea. Maybe Can't think of what made me fly away, but not today. Tear up the meaning from my words. Drag it down to childish verse. Besides reserved for astronauts and vagrants. Let's cut the distance and kill the business to and from. Kiss me with a shovel, 'cause I'm rolling in my grave. Hang around like a picture of fame and craving. Now I'm a flame and I pray for sleep. And I'm gone. 'Cause we don't need a shelter. Pay out with the bloodshed cheek. It's black and what's come over in me. That's what's come over when I work strong. Can't tell you where I wanna go. Can't tell you where I wanna go. Flame and I pray for sleep. And now